This is Julia, Reference Librarian at McAllen Public Library. Welcome to Creative Tech, where we'll be looking at ways that technology and design can make your life a little bit easier and a little bit more fun. So today we're going to go over everything that you can do with a Google account. Google is pretty amazing because besides just searching for things on the internet with it, you can also have email, save files, create files, write documents, make spreadsheets, all sorts of things, manage your contacts, manage your calendar. So we're just going to go over a little bit of that today. The first thing you'll need to do is actually make a Google account if you don't already have one. For that, you just go to google.com, and then over here in the corner you can go to sign in. And then this computer already has 2 accounts that I use stored on it, so yours won't look like this, but you would go to create an account or use another account. And down here, create account. And then you choose if you're making one for yourself or if you're making one to manage a business. For this example, we'll do for myself. So this is pretty self-explanatory. You just put your name and then you make up a username. And then you make up a password. It should be a secure password that you can remember but that no one else will be able to figure out. And then you click on next and you'll be all set up with your Google account. Now once you have your Google account, you have access to all of the different Google apps and features, including Gmail, Google Drive, Calendar, all of that. The way you navigate between all of them is you go to any Google page like google.com. And this little icon with the dots up here in the top right corner is the menu, so you go there. You manage your account here. You can go to Google Search here, Google Maps here, YouTube, which is owned by Google here, the Google Play Store to get apps, or Gmail, Google Drive, Calendar, Google Translate, Google Photos, all kinds of useful things. So we'll go over Gmail first. This is what the Gmail inbox looks like. There are different ways that you can organize the inbox with different tabs up here at the top. I have mine organized by primary, and then social, and then promotions, which are mostly ads. But there are all kinds of ways that you can organize it. You just go to the little gear up here in the corner, the settings, and there are a lot of choices here for how you can personalize and organize your inbox. So you can do whatever is most useful for you. So to write an email, you go over here to Compose in the left menu. And you put the person's email address, the subject. You start writing the email. And down here at the bottom, there are some more features. The little paperclip here is to attach files. And then the little link next to it is to insert a web link. You can insert an emoji, so all kinds of things that you can do when you're composing the email. And if there are any important messages, like let's pretend this one at the top was very important, something that I needed to remember to do later. You click on the little star, and then you go over here to starred in the left menu, and those are important emails that you need to remember, that you need to do stuff with later. And over here also is sent. Those are all emails that you send. And if you click on more, there are a few more options down here. Spam. Gmail is very good at managing spam, but you might want to check it occasionally. Just make sure that there's nothing important in there. It'll automatically erase all of your spam every 30 days. Now, another very useful part of having a Google account is Google Drive. That's the Google file storage and file creation area. So you get to that by going to the menu over here, and then you go to Google Drive. And you can see I have a lot of files on here. This is where I manage a lot of files and spreadsheets for work. If you go to New over here, you can create Google Docs, which is like the Google equivalent of Word. Google Sheets is the Google equivalent of Excel. Google Slides is the Google equivalent of PowerPoint. Google Forms is to make forms that you can send either through email or put on a website. So this is very useful. So you can upload files onto here, and you can also download files. So this is also a very useful work productivity tool. And if there are files that are very important, you can do the same thing you did in Gmail. You put a star on it, and then over here, starred, you can see here, these are important files that I have put a star by that I use a lot. There are also, there's a trash folder where you can put files that you don't need anymore. Recent files are things you've worked on recently. Shared with me are files that people have shared with you. So this is a very useful tool, a lot of things that you can do on here. So we're not going to go into detail with this because that would take too long and be a whole separate video, a whole separate class. But just to show you real quick what the different documents on here look like, you go to New, Google Docs. Now this is what a Google Doc looks like. You can see it looks very similar to a Microsoft Word. It works in a very similar way, except this is free and it's in the Google Cloud, so you don't have to remember to save anything. It'll save it for you. And similarly, this is what a Google Sheet looks like. Looks just like an Excel spreadsheet, works similar ways, just like with the other one that I just showed you. It'll save it automatically in the cloud, so you don't need to remember to save it. And now the last Google tool that we'll go over is the Google Calendar. So you get to that by going to the menu over here again, and then you go to Calendar. This is the Google Calendar. And it works very similar to the calendar in the Microsoft Outlook program. By default, it'll show you the week view, but you can also change it to the month or the day. So all kinds of ways that you can customize it. And if you click on the little settings menu here, the gear icon, you can change the density, the color, other ways to personalize it there. Now to add something to the calendar, you go to Create over here. And over here on the left side, the left menu here, it'll show you different calendars that you have. So you have your calendar with your name, and then you have birthdays, reminders that you create, tasks that you create, so other customized calendars here. So this was just a very brief overview of some of the most important things that you can do with a Google account. I use Google a lot for personal use and professional use. I have different accounts for work and for home. But if you want to see a full list of all of the Google Apps, things that you can do with a Google account, you just go up here to Google Apps again, keep scrolling down, and you can see all of the services that they have here. And then if you click on this button down here for the Google Workspace Marketplace, this will take you to even more things they have that are created by third-party services that partner with Google. So there's just a lot that you can do with Google. It's a great tool for personal and professional use. This was Julia, and thank you for watching. Be sure to follow MPL Adults on Facebook and McAllen Public Library on YouTube, and don't miss any of our virtual programs.